Okay. Okay, folks, welcome back. This is Mr. Imran Iqbal on 121 Tutor. Right, I'm having a look at these questions today. We are looking at percentages and the common percentages, in particular, the 1, the 10, the 25, and the 50, first of all. Okay, lovely. So let's have our resident expert on percentages, Mr. Zaki. Mr. Zaki, unmute, please, and join me on this question, please. So when we say 1%, Zaki, what does 1% mean to you? Okay, Zaki, you can't talk. What's happened to him? Mr. Zaki, unmute yourself, young man, and join me. Okay, Zaki's feeling a bit shy. Mr. Zaki, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, Alhamdulillah, very good, he's come back. Okay, so when we say 1%, Zaki, when we say 1%, what does 1% mean?
One out of 100.
Fantastic. 1% is 1 per 100. Lovely. Now, if you wanted to work out 1/100th of something, how would you do that?
You divide it by 100.
Fantastic. Do you know how to divide by 100?
Yeah.
We've been doing that just even, I think, last lesson or something. So 1% means divided by 100. Okay, let's have a look at this question now. So we got 400 and we want to work out 1% of everything here. How do I divide 400 by 100? What do I do? So how do you do that question?
You take 2 zeros off.
And what does that leave you with?
4%.
No, the answer is not 4%, the answer is 4, because we're working at 1% of 400. So 1% of 400, maybe 400 apples, would be 4 apples, for example. So the answer isn't percent, because we just write out the percent of something. Okay, lovely. Okay, Zaki, what about question number 8 now? So if I wanted to work out 1% of 420, I would divide it by 100, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
And how would you do that?
You move 2 places to the left.
From where?
So you go to the left 2 spaces, so 1,
From the
2.
end. So you have to put the decimal point in yourself because there's one missing. That's where it lives at the end. So the final answer is?
4.2.
We need to put the 0 down in the final answer?
No.
No. So if you got a whole number on this side and you're dividing it by 100, how many zeros do we remove?
2.
And if we don't have 2 zeros, or what we do is we have to put the decimal
Point in
at the end of the number and move back how many places?
2 places.
2 places. Okay, lovely. Right, thank you for that. Right, let's have Aisha. Question number 3, number 10. Let's go. I want to work out 1% of 1200. What do I do?
1%. So first you just, so if you're doing you divide it by 100,
Yeah.
so it's going to be, you knock off 2 zeros.
Yes. And the answer
Then
is?
it's going to be 12 over 100.
Not 12.
Or 12%.
12. Yeah, because you divided by 100. You've done the division. Next, 770. We have to work out 1%. What do we do?
You divide it by 100, so you put the decimal point at the end, move 2 places to the right, no, the left.
Left.
And then you put 7.7. You don't need a 0 at the end.
Okay, fantastic. So 1% means divided by 100. So what does Aisha 10% mean?
I'm dividing by 10.
10% means 10 over 100. Is that right? 10 hundredths.
Yes.
If you cancel 10 hundredths down, it will give you what? 1 over
10.
So 10% is 1/10 of something. How do we work out 1/10 of something?
When you're dividing, shall I do the first question?
You gotta tell me what's in the cloud.
Dividing by 10.
Okay, so 1/10 means divided by 10. So 10% isn't divided by 10 because it's 10. We're not dividing by this number as a rule. It just happens to work out that 10% is a tenth because we're working out of 100. So don't get confused. So we're dividing by 10. So what do we do with the 400 then? So how many zeros do
400,
you
you're
knock off?
dividing by 10, so you're going to knock off 1 0, so it's going to be 40.
And what about 24?
Move one place to the left, so it's going to be
Yeah.
2.4. It's not even like percentages, it's just like division.
Okay, what about number 4 and number 11? So 80, you want to work out 10% of 80, you divide it by
Move it
10.
one place to the left, so it's going to be just 8.
So you're knocking off 1 0 when you're dividing by 10. And what about 84?
Move it one place.
From
So
the end, because we don't have a decimal point for that question.
8.4.
8.4. So we've had a quick look at that 1%, 10%. So what I would like you to do now, I'm going to highlight some questions for you to do. So let's do those questions now. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do those questions. On the timer, starting now, pause the video, resume the recording. So as a quick way for marking your work, we were dividing by 100, working at 1% on the left-hand side. So you remove 2 zeros on 4, 5, 6, and 7. Nice and easy peasy stuff. On the other one, we're going to move it by 2 jumps to the left from the end, because that's where the decimal point lives anyway, at the end of a whole number. Now this one here can be simplified to 0.8, but you must put an extra 0 to make the number sound right. You can't say to each other, I got 0.8 of a meter, but when you write it down, you never write down in a mathematical way that as the answer. That's not acceptable at all. You must put an extra 0 to make the number look right mathematically. On the right hand side, we're working at 10%. 10%, you have to remove 1 0 if you have it at the end. That's the quick way. 70 divided by 10 is 7. Knock off all the zeros on the left hand side. On the right hand side, because of the whole number, no zero, no decimal point, put it in at the end. Move it back one place. Done. 20.6. Again, put the decimal point at the end, move it back one place, 7.8. Put the decimal point at the end of a whole number and move the decimal point back, and we have finished those 2 pages. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so that was working at 1% and 10%. Okay, right. The next one is, okay, how long has this video been so far? I don't know how long. It's 25% and 50%. So let's have Ariana. Okay, Ariana, come and join me on this, please. So what's 25%? When we say 25%, what are we talking about? 25 over what?
100.
Okay, lovely. 25% means 25 per 100. And if we cancel that down, what do we get from 25%?
A quarter.
And how do we work out a quarter?
Divided by 4.
Lovely. Okay, fantastic. Now, if you're dividing a number by 4, what's one way that we can set it up? Using which method?
The bus stop method.
The bus stop method. Okay, so how many 4s go into 400, Ariana?
100.
Okay, and how many 4s go into 64?
16.
So 1 remainder 2. Fantastic, just dividing by 4. Similarly, if you're looking at 50%, what's 50% as a fraction? 50 over?
100.
It cancels down to?
A half.
And a half can be worked out by doing what?
Dividing it by 2.
Dividing by 2. So we can now got technique. So what would be the method for this one? We can show it as divided by 2. How many 2s are on 500, Ariana?
250.
And how many, what's half of 72?
36.
36. So this part of the work today is easy, inshallah. So 25% is a quarter of anything, 50% is a half of anything. So when you go to a sale in a shop and they say 25% of everything, so you know you're going to save a quarter, you won't have to pay for a quarter, you only pay for 3/4. And if you go to another bigger sale, it says 50% off of a TV or whatever it is, that means you're only paying for half, because half is being let off. Okay, that's lovely. Let's do some questions. So let's have a go at these, and let's have a go at these. Remember, it's 25% on the left-hand side, and it's going to be 50% on the right-hand side. So off you go. Do the circle, do the, the highlighted question for me, please, while I pause the video. Okay, folks, so I've given this everybody the answers for those questions. So if you're working at 25%, we're dividing by 4, and there's my answers. Okay, this is a normal bus stop technique. And the other one, we were doing 50%, so we're dividing by 2, and there's the answers to those. Okay, lovely. Right, that's going to be the end of this video. We're going to make a new video for the next part.